The galaxy was full of stars, each shining with its own story, its own life. Among these stars was a quiet planet named Thalor, a world of blue-green oceans and crystal mountains. Thalor was home to the Lumerians, a peaceful and intelligent species. They had delicate bodies, gentle minds, and an understanding of the universe that few other beings could match. Yet, despite their wisdom, they faced a threat they could not overcome alone. For centuries, the Lumerians had observed their sun, a bright and steady star, providing warmth and life. But recently, the sun had begun to weaken. Its light flickered, its heat softened, and the oceans on Thalor began to cool. Crops failed, rivers slowed, and the very air felt thinner. The Lumerians tried everything they knew: technology, science, and rituals of observation, but nothing worked. In their greatest hour of need, the Lumerians sent a signal into the cosmos. It was not a weapon, not a threat, not even a cry for war. It was a call for help, a message wrapped in hope. Many species received it, but most ignored it. They considered the Lumerians' plight tragic but natural. The galaxy had rules, and one of them was to let natural processes run their course. But the humans saw it differently. On a starship called the Horizon, humanity's explorers detected the signal. The Horizon was a remarkable ship, built to travel across galaxies and face challenges beyond imagination. Its crew, a mix of scientists, engineers, and explorers. Read the Lumerians' message carefully. "We have to help them," said Captain Mira Solis, her voice calm but firm. She had led countless missions to unknown worlds and had seen both wonders and dangers. "They are alive. They are asking, and we can make a difference. That is enough reason." The crew nodded. Humans had a way of seeing possibilities where others only saw obstacles. While other species debated and hesitated, humans acted. They did not wait for permission from distant councils. They did not measure morality against endless regulations. They prepared to go where help was needed. As the Horizon approached Thalor, the crew looked out at the planet below. Its oceans shimmered in shades of green and blue, but the light from its sun was faint, duller than it should have been. Mountains that once sparkled with crystal now seemed gray. The planet was alive, but it was weak, and the humans felt its quiet pain. The Lumerians waited. They had never seen humans before, but they could sense the energy of their arrival. Unlike other species, humans did not hover cautiously or speak in distant formalities. They moved fast, acted fast, and thought fast. Within hours of landing, humans were walking on Thalor, their equipment unfolding, analyzing, and scanning. A small group of Lumerians approached, their thin bodies glowing faintly with bioluminescent light. They were nervous but curious. One of them, Elian, stepped forward. You came," he said, his voice soft and melodic. "Others ignored us. Why do you care?" Captain Mira smiled gently. "Because we can. And because every life matters." The Lumerians had never experienced such direct determination. Many species, even helpful ones, arrived with rules, conditions, or fear of failing. Humans came with nothing but willingness and skill. The humans began their work immediately. First, they assessed the sun and the planet's energy balance. Using sensors and orbital satellites, they measured the sun's heat, its radiation, and its strange fluctuations. Then, they studied Thalor itself, its core, its oceans, its atmosphere. Humans worked as a team, sharing knowledge, testing ideas, and refining solutions in real time. Elian and the Lumerians watched in awe. How do you do all this so quickly?" Elian asked. "We have centuries of study. Yet you move faster than our minds can follow." Captain Mira crouched to look at Elian. "We have a simple rule," she said. "If something must be done, we do it. We do not wait for the perfect moment. We do not wait for approval. We act, and we adjust as we go." It was a philosophy that had guided humans for centuries. On Earth, They had overcome storms, famine, and disasters. In space, they faced unknown worlds and survived where others perished. On Thalor, this philosophy became a beacon of hope. The first step was stabilization. Humans set up energy collectors in orbit to channel sunlight directly to Thalor. They built compact power nodes on the surface to redistribute energy where it was most needed. Slowly, the planet began to respond. Ice at the poles melted slightly, rivers flowed faster, and the air became warmer. Lumerians felt the change immediately. Elian approached Captain Mira again, his eyes wide. "You are saving us. But why? You do not even know us." Mira looked at the shimmering oceans. "Because we believe life is worth saving. And because sometimes, it is not about knowing, it is about acting." Even as progress was made, the humans discovered something troubling. Thalor's sun was not merely weakening naturally. There was a cosmic interference, a stream of energy from a distant star cluster that accelerated the sun's decay. It was subtle, almost invisible, but without intervention, the sun would fail sooner than expected. The Lumerians trembled at this news. Their history had no record of such interference. They had always believed in the stability of their star. Humans, however, did not panic. They began plotting solutions immediately, working together with the Lumerians. "Do not be afraid," said Mira. "We will find a way. We always do." The Lumerians had never seen such confidence. Even in moments of uncertainty, humans believed in action, in solving problems through creativity and courage. Elian felt a spark of hope he had never known. As days passed, humans and Lumerians worked side by side. Humans taught the Lumerians how to manage energy nodes, how to optimize sunlight collection, and how to stabilize minor storms caused by the sun's fluctuations. In turn, Lumerians taught humans about the delicate balance of their ecosystems, the magic of their oceans, and the flow of energy through Thalor's crystal mountains. Friendships formed. Humans shared simple stories of Earth, of oceans, forests, mountains, and cities. Lumerians shared stories of Thalor, of ancient civilizations, and of the songs that resonated through their bioluminescent cities. Despite the vast differences between them, they found common ground: a love for life and a desire to protect it. Yet, as they worked, the humans noticed patterns that no Lumerian had seen. The interference affecting the sun was growing stronger, subtle waves of energy that pulsed through space like invisible tides. It was as if the universe itself tested those who dared to act. Captain Mira called her team together. "We have done well, but we are not done," she said. "The sun's interference is stronger than we thought. If we do not adapt, all our efforts may be undone, but we will adapt." That is what humans do. The Lumerians listened, a mix of fear and admiration in their voices. Humans never gave up. They did not hesitate. Even against cosmic forces, they continued to act with focus and creativity. The first part of the mission was ending, and yet it was only the beginning. Humans had stabilized small areas, strengthened ecosystems, and shown the Lumerians that hope was possible. But the bigger challenge awaited. The very survival of Thalor depended on humans' ingenuity and courage in the coming days. At night, under Thalor's dimmed sun, Elian looked at the human crew. "You are strange," he said softly. "Other species talk. You act. Other species fear. You do not. Why are you like this?" Captain Mira smiled faintly, watching her crew prepare for another day of work. "Because when we see a problem, we cannot ignore it. Because when life asks for help, we answer. That is who we are." And with that, the humans of the horizon prepared to face the unknown, ready to push beyond limits, ready to show a galaxy that when humanity decides to act, even the impossible can become possible. The silent call had been answered, and humanity had only just begun. The sun over Thalor was weak, but it still shone enough to remind the Lumerians of the life they had always known. The humans of the horizon continued their work with precision, moving across the planet and its orbit with a clear purpose. Captain Mira Solis led her team as they expanded energy collectors and stabilized more regions. The first days had been filled with small successes. Oceans warmed slightly, rivers flowed better, and forests regained some of their glow. Yet, Captain Mira knew the bigger challenge was coming. The interference affecting the sun was growing stronger, like invisible waves stretching across space, threatening everything on Thalor. "We need to adapt faster," Mira told her crew during a briefing. "We have stabilized parts of the planet, but these waves will grow. If we do not find a solution soon, the sun will fade before we can save it." The crew nodded. Engineers, scientists, and strategists worked together, combining human knowledge with Lumerian insight. Unlike other species that might have hesitated in fear, humans thrived in moments of uncertainty. They analyzed, experimented, and acted, all at once. Elian, the Lumerian guide, watched the humans closely. "You do not seem afraid," he said to Mira. "Even when the sun's strength weakens and the waves grow, you act as if everything will succeed." "How?" Mira smiled softly. "We do not rely on certainty. We rely on effort, on creativity, and on persistence. If we do not try, failure is guaranteed. If we try, we create possibilities." The Lumerians had never understood fear in the same way humans did. They measured risks carefully, often avoiding action when outcomes were uncertain. But humans had a different way of thinking. They valued action over hesitation. This was why they had come to Thalor, while the galaxy looked away. The first major task was constructing a large energy array in orbit around Thalor. This array would capture sunlight from distant stars and redirect it to strengthen the weakening sun. Humans and Lumerians worked together, designing nodes, linking satellites, and creating a network that would stabilize the planet's energy flow. The process was delicate. The orbital array needed constant adjustment. Any miscalculation could reduce efficiency or even damage the fragile network. Humans adapted quickly, using sensors and algorithms to anticipate fluctuations. Lumerians observed, learning from the human speed and flexibility. "This is incredible," Elian whispered to another Lumerian. "They move faster than our minds can follow. And yet, every step seems precise." As the array was built, humans also focused on Thalor's surface. Some energy nodes were installed in the mountains, while others were submerged in oceans to regulate temperatures. They created small devices that absorbed cosmic energy and converted it into a steady flow for the planet. Within days, regions that had been cold and gray began to bloom with color. Plants revived, rivers brightened, and the air felt warmer. But just as hope grew, a new challenge appeared. The cosmic waves affecting the sun were intensifying. Strange ripples in space caused small storms on Thalor, disrupting the human systems. The Lumerians panicked. "We cannot control this," one cried. "The sun will fail faster than you can help." Mira stood firm. "We can control this. It will take careful coordination, adjustment, and teamwork. Let us begin." The humans divided their efforts. Some adjusted the orbital array to focus more energy where it was needed most. Others reprogrammed surface nodes to absorb fluctuating cosmic energy. Engineers built small drones that traveled across the planet, repairing damaged systems automatically. Humans worked without stopping, even during Thalor's dim twilight. Elian marveled at their energy. "They do not rest," he said quietly. "They do not complain. They move forward, always forward." During one particularly difficult day, a massive energy ripple hit Thalor. It disrupted the orbital array and several surface nodes at the same time. Lumerians feared disaster, but humans reacted immediately. Teams of engineers raced to correct the nodes. Drones were deployed automatically, guided by humans who worked in tandem with Lumerians. Calculations were revised, energy redirected, and within hours, the system stabilized again. "You see," Mira told Elian as the planet quieted, "problems are never permanent. If we act, adjust, and persist, Solutions are always possible. It was a lesson the Lumerians would never forget. Humans had a relentless determination, a refusal to surrender even when conditions seemed impossible. Slowly, the Lumerians began to help more actively, learning from the humans' methods. They applied their knowledge of Thalor's ecosystem to make adjustments faster, and the humans welcomed every suggestion. Days turned into weeks. The planet grew stronger. More regions were stabilized. Oceans were warmer. Forests brighter. And the air cleaner. Even the sun showed signs of recovery. Though the cosmic waves were still a threat, the galaxy was watching. Other civilizations had heard of humans acting on Thalor. Some were amazed, others skeptical. In previous centuries, no species had dared to intervene in such natural cosmic events. But humans did not wait for approval. They acted because they could, because it was right. This is why humans are different, Mira said during a meeting with her crew. Other species debate, hesitate, and fear. We act. That is our strength. And it is why Thalor will survive. The humans continued their work, installing additional energy arrays and nodes, and teaching Lumerians to manage them independently. But the greatest challenge was yet to come. A massive cosmic storm, larger than any before, was approaching. Its energy waves could destroy the orbital array, disable surface nodes, and threaten the stability of Thalor itself. The humans did not panic. They prepared, as they always did, using a combination of energy shields, orbital redirection systems, and surface stabilizers. They devised a plan to guide the storm safely past the planet. Elian watched them with awe. You face something so great, and yet you do not waver, he said. It is unlike anything we know, Mira smiled. We face it because we must, and because action is the only way to protect life. Fear does not solve problems, action does. The storm arrived faster than anyone expected. Waves of cosmic energy moved toward Thalor, and small tremors shook the planet. Humans coordinated from the horizon and surface control hubs. Drones moved automatically to reinforce nodes. Orbital arrays adjusted their angles, and energy shields absorbed the brunt of the storm. It was a test of precision, endurance, and teamwork. Humans acted without pause, instructing Lumerians on what to do while simultaneously adjusting systems in real time. Elian helped guide the surface teams, amazed at how humans could lead and teach simultaneously. Hours passed. The storm raged, but the humans did not falter. Slowly, with continuous adjustments, the storm's energy was redirected. Thalor's surface remained safe. The orbital arrays held, and the sun, though still weak, remained stable. When the storm finally passed, the planet was quiet again. The Lumerians gathered around, their eyes shining. You saved us, Elian said. We never imagined anyone could do this. Mira shook her head gently. We did not save you alone. We worked together. Your knowledge, our tools, and determination, all of it mattered. But the lesson is this. When humans see a problem, we act. We adapt. We do not wait for perfect conditions. And sometimes, that is enough to achieve the impossible. The Lumerians began to see the truth. Humans were not the strongest in a physical sense, nor the most careful, but they had qualities that other species could not match: determination, ingenuity, and courage to act even in uncertainty. As weeks passed, the humans and Lumerians worked together to rebuild and strengthen Thalor further. Energy arrays became permanent, surface nodes more efficient, and the planet's environment stabilized to levels unseen for decades. The Lumerians began to thrive once more. But Captain Mira knew that the galaxy would continue to watch. Humans' intervention was unprecedented. Some species might still see them as reckless, yet she also knew that this was humanity at its best. Solving problems that others considered unsolvable. Protecting life when all hope seemed lost. And showing that action can shape the course of the universe. One evening, under Thalor's dim but steady sun, Elian approached Mira. We have learned much from you, he said. Not just technology, but how to act, how to persevere. You are unlike any being we have known, Mira smiled. We are like that because we choose to be. We do not wait for miracles, we create them. The humans of the horizon had not only stabilized Thalor, they had inspired hope. The Lumerians, who had once been passive and fearful, now understood that life could be protected if one had courage, ingenuity, and determination. And humans, as always, continued to move forward, ready for whatever the galaxy might bring next. The silent call of Thalor had been answered. The planet had survived against odds that would have defeated others, and humanity had once again shown that when they choose to act, even the impossible can become reality. Thalor had survived the cosmic storm. Its oceans shimmered in brighter blues, and its forests glowed with renewed life. The Lumerians walked among the humans, their eyes wide with wonder. For the first time in many generations, they felt hope as more than a distant dream. Captain Mira Solis watched the planet from the deck of the horizon. The orbital arrays hummed with energy, stabilizing the sun and redirecting cosmic interference. Surface nodes adjusted automatically, keeping rivers flowing and forests alive. Every system was in place. Yet Mira knew that the final challenge was still ahead. Thalor's long-term survival depended on the planet itself, learning to manage its energy systems. She gathered her crew and the Lumerians in a large hall, lit by soft bioluminescent lamps. We have done much, she began. But now, we must ensure that Thalor can continue without us. That is the true test of our mission. Elion, the Lumerian guide, nodded. We have learned from you, he said. But we must understand fully if we are to continue your work. The humans smiled. That was exactly what they wanted. HFY was not just about saving a planet. It was about teaching others to thrive. Even when humans leave, for weeks, humans and Lumerians worked side by side. Humans taught practical skills: how to adjust orbital arrays, how to repair energy nodes, and how to anticipate cosmic fluctuations. They shared strategies, explaining the reasoning behind every action. The Lumerians absorbed the knowledge, combining it with their own understanding of Thalor's ecosystems. During this time, the humans also encouraged cooperation among Lumerians themselves. They organized teams, assigned tasks based on strengths, and showed that leadership and teamwork were essential for success. Slowly, the Lumerians began to move with confidence, their delicate bodies now guided by stronger minds. One day, a young Lumerian approached Mira with curiosity. You humans, you act so decisively. You do not wait, you do not fear. Mira crouched to meet the small being's gaze. Because action creates possibility, she said. When we see a problem, we act. When others wait, time passes, and opportunities are lost. We do not fear failure, because trying is better than doing nothing. The Lumerians listened carefully. It was a lesson not of technology, but of spirit. Mira knew that if the Lumerians understood this, they could face challenges no human could predict. The final test came in the form of a massive cosmic storm, larger than the previous one. This storm was an unusual energy wave, stretching across light years, and it threatened not only Thalor's sun but the planet's orbit itself. The humans had prepared extensively, yet even they felt a moment of tension. Mira called her crew together. This is our greatest challenge yet, she said. But we are not alone. We have Lumerians working with us. Together, we will protect Thalor. The humans deployed the orbital arrays at full capacity. Surface nodes adjusted automatically, and drones flew across forests and rivers, reinforcing the systems. Energy shields were raised to absorb the storm's force, and human ingenuity guided every action. The storm arrived, rolling across space like a river of light. It pushed Thalor's atmosphere, tested the orbital arrays, and threatened to disrupt energy nodes on the surface. The Lumerians watched anxiously, unsure if their world could survive. Mira's voice carried through the control hubs. Adjust, redirect, persist. Her commands were precise, clear, and calm. Humans moved with efficiency. repairing nodes as soon as a disturbance appeared. Drones flew with exact precision, guided by algorithms and human judgment. For hours, the storm raged. Tremors shook the planet, but the humans adapted, finding new solutions for every challenge the storm presented. They worked without hesitation, balancing energy flow, reinforcing structures, and guiding the Lumerians in real time. Elian, observing the humans, whispered to a group of young Lumerians, "Look at them. They do not panic. They do not stop. Even when everything seems impossible, they act." Finally, the storm began to weaken. Thalor's systems held. The sun, though still small, radiated steadily. Rivers flowed, oceans sparkled, and forests glowed. The humans had succeeded once more. The Lumerians gathered around Captain Mira and her crew. You have saved us again," Elian said. "And not just saved. You have shown us how to survive, how to act, how to endure. We will never forget this." Mira smiled. "You do not need to remember us forever," she said. "You need to remember the lessons. Courage, persistence, and creativity, these are your tools. With them, you can face anything." Over the next few days, the humans helped the Lumerians take full control of their systems. The orbital arrays and surface nodes were adjusted for autonomous operation. The Lumerians practiced management and repairs, learning to predict solar fluctuations and cosmic waves. Each day, they became more confident, more capable, more independent. The galaxy began to take notice. Other civilizations, once skeptical, watched from afar. They saw a species that acted decisively, creatively, and relentlessly. They saw humans solving problems that others avoided. Slowly, admiration replaced doubt. On the final evening of their mission, Mira stood on a hill overlooking Thalor's oceans. The planet was alive and stable. The Lumerians had learned to manage their systems, and the humans had prepared them for the future. Elian joined her, glowing faintly in the twilight. "You, humans, you do not fight with weapons. You do not conquer with fear. And yet, you have achieved greatness." Mira nodded. "We act when action is needed. We do not need violence or domination to make a difference. Sometimes, persistence, creativity, and teamwork are enough to change the course of history." The Lumerians had changed too. Once timid and cautious, they now moved with confidence, understanding that life was worth protecting and that challenges could be overcome through action and cooperation. Before leaving, the humans held a small ceremony. They gifted the Lumerians with memory crystals containing instructions, data, and recordings of the work done on Thalor. "This is not a gift of power," Mira explained. "It is a gift of knowledge. Use it wisely. Protect your world. Protect life." The Lumerians thanked them with a song that echoed across the crystal mountains, a song of hope, gratitude, and renewal. Humans listened quietly, feeling the impact of their actions not in awards or recognition, but in the survival and growth of a civilization. Finally, it was time for the humans to leave. The horizon rose into orbit, its engines glowing softly against Thalor's stabilized sun. Elian and the other Lumerians waved, their hearts full of respect and admiration. As the ship prepared to jump into interstellar space, Mira looked back at the planet. "We came to help," she said, "and we have learned too. Every mission teaches us something new. But one truth remains. When humans act, even the impossible can become reality." The horizon disappeared into the stars, leaving Thalor alive, thriving, and full of hope. The galaxy had witnessed humanity at its finest, not through power, not through conquest, but through ingenuity, determination, and the courage to act when others hesitated. The Lumerians would tell stories of the humans for generations. They would remember a species that arrived when no one else would, a species that acted with decisiveness and care, a species that proved that life is worth every effort. And somewhere in the galaxy, other civilizations began to reconsider humanity not as a threat, but as a remarkable force for good. For when humans choose to act, even the stars themselves seem to shine brighter. Thalor had survived. Life had endured. And humanity had once again proven why. In a galaxy that often hesitated, humans were capable of truly extraordinary deeds. The silent call had been answered, and a new story of hope, courage, and determination was written among the stars.